Hello traders, welcome to today's Bitcoin and cryptocurrency video. It is the 6th of January 2025. This is my first update of the year. I have of course had a couple of weeks off, not looking at any charts at all because that is very important. You want to keep yourself mentally fresh, give yourself a break. Nothing ever happens over the Christmas period really, and nothing really has happened. Of course, we did come down and sweep these lows, which was getting people nice and bearish as we went into the new year. Seen a nice bounce, and the chart is looking really good, but still staying in the same range, price the same point as it was basically when I last did an update, which was on the 23rd of December. And yeah, we've just stayed in this range ever since. So I am going to, we're going to talk about the market. It's crazy that it's 2025 already. It feels like it was just a few weeks ago that I did my big update on what 2024 would turn out to be. And if you go back, if you remember that video that I recorded on the 1st of January 2024, the market played out exactly how we expected. So we were expecting a very, very bullish year, and that is precisely what we got. Of course, things got a little bit crazy throughout part of the year, and things got a little bit crazy towards the end of the year, and then we had that big lull in the middle. But overall, yeah, things playing out kind of how we were expecting with the bullish Q1, slow summer, and then picking up at the end of the year again. So if you do want to watch that video back again, just to see how well it played out, then by all means do so. But one thing that I spoke about was the idea that we were going to have a very bullish year last year, and this is the year where we're going to top. So things are going to get a bit crazy. Last year was very easy to predict, and I did do an update for the crew this morning, just going over my thoughts on the market as a whole and what I think we're likely to see. I could bring that up on here, or I can just tell you now. So essentially, we're not early anymore. We're certainly not early anymore. This bull run is going to peak this year, and then we're going to go into another bear market again. So you have to have an exit plan for this year. Last year, we wanted to be accumulating and to be able to make the most of an up market, which is what we had. Of course, we had loads of catalysts. We all knew that rates were going to be cut. We all knew that the ETF was going to be approved. We all knew that Trump was going to become the president again. All of those things now priced in. And now it's a chance to distribute. And that is what we're going to see this year. We are going to see a distribution in price. So things are not going to go up forever. I will say that now. But within any distribution, you need to have a mania phase, and that is what I believe we're going into now. I do not believe we have seen enough of a mania phase for the market to have topped yet. I think that will come towards second half, towards the end of this year, maybe summer to October, and price maybe 180, something like that, K, with of course alts doing very well as well. So yeah, I was going to say something else as well. A lot of other people saying that, okay, we're seeing a lot of topping signals and crypto going mainstream. But of course, this is a market that is, like I said before, we're not early anymore. Crypto is mainstream. This is a mainstream market. Cryptocurrency trading is popular culture now. We're seeing it all over the place. We're seeing people coming into the markets. It is popular culture. We have to accept that. But that means that the top signals are going to be amplified in the same way that they have been on previous cycles. So whereas we may have thought that crypto having a character in Squid Game 2 or whatever, based on Do Kwon, was going to be a top signal of a previous cycle, it won't be on this cycle because everyone knows it now. So I still believe that we're going to go through that mania phase and that things are going to get a lot more crazy before they do eventually tumble back down. There are things that we need to see, catalysts that I am expecting to see, including things like the USA, some other countries calling Bitcoin like national reserve. They have a strategic reserve or something. Maybe a few more ETFs to come on altcoins such as Solana and XRP, which I think would be very close to the top. A bunch of IPOs. We're going to need to see an IPO bubble within AI in order for the market to top as well, but that's not yet happened. And a bunch of crypto companies also going public. I do expect that we probably end up seeing the Coinbase ends up on the NASDAQ alongside MicroStrategy, probably overtakes it in terms of market cap. The likes of Kraken, Celsius also going to be going public, and Celsius, no, the other one, Circle, going public, and yeah, some other things that we are very likely to see. But anyway, let's go into the TA stuff, because I'm waffling a little bit, because this is the first update that I've done of the year, and I like to waffle, so I'm going to waffle. But let's get into the TA. I'm going to start off with the yearly. Okay, so I believe we're in year one of what is going to be the next phase, like price discovery, and then the bear market that ensues before the next price discovery. You can say that the first red candle is year one, or label this however you want, with 4 being the big markup that we see at the end. But in my opinion, the distribution and the what we're seeing now, from all-time high to the next all-time high to the next all-time high to what will be this all-time high, I'm just labeling that as the one. It's what I did last year. We were expecting a bullish year. That is precisely what we had. And now we're expecting this final mania phase top to be put in this year before we get a red candle ugly next year. So what we've seen previously, of course, the first all-time high, the first major all-time high we had in January 2013. We then went through into what would be last year, with price closing close to those all-time highs. The market cycle we had subsequently, price closing just above those all-time highs. The market cycle that we're seeing right now, price closing out in 2024 just above those previous all-time highs. So what did we see on the last one? We saw that one with a move up of 146%. So if we see from where we are now, 146% would take things to above 200k. So that means that targets of 180, something like that kind of thing, are very much realistic for this cycle. And yeah, things are still looking good. On the quarterly, if we just go down to the quarterly time frame, then once again we have seen a close, quarterly close. Of course, we did get that quarterly close at the beginning of last year, above those all-time highs, which was very, very bullish. We had that very, very bullish start to the year. But yeah, things are looking very good on the quarterly. We are looking for this expansive move right now that takes us to a new all-time high, and then we'll get the distribution followed by a bear market next year. Looking at the monthly, okay, people were getting a little bit bearish on the monthly close because it kind of looked like a reversal, right? At the time, I mean, it is like a reversal candle, but when you do look at everything else, things are still looking like they're pretty good, looking upwards. There's no reason why we can't take out those previous month lows. Okay, still, that is something that I'm still very aware of. They are there. It is something to be aware of, and we don't really have a wick down on the year so much just yet. If we do look at the monthly, okay, it's a very, very small wick that we've got to the downside. We haven't taken out those previous month lows, so you would expect that maybe that would happen. But what we've seen on previous occasions is that as the year starts, it does tend to continue that trend for a while before maybe seeing a pullback later on. So the monthly looking good. Going down onto the weekly, okay, we can see that we're just consolidating here. Of course, we hit that 100k, or well, above 100k, got that price discovery above. Since then, corrected, come back into this range and just trading within this range here. But let's go down onto the lower time frames, because that's the stuff that's very interesting. The daily, okay, so this was the day that we had the big Darth Maul. When we first had that clean breaker of 100k, of course, we came up and CME took it back in November. Then early in December, the rest of the market finally came up and took it. We were expecting a big boom, 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 Darth Maul wick on either side, candle to happen. The highs got taken out, and then the lows got taken out throughout the rest of the month. So both that has been cleaned up. So you had the crazy day where we broke 100k, highs taken, lows taken, consolidation again. And so far, the last couple of days, we've just seen price holding around that point of control, and now just starting to peek through it, seeing if we can get a bit of a move higher here. However, we have just taken out local highs, so I do think we can be looking for a little bit of downside now before seeing a move up to what I think was the main target within this range, which is this daily gap between 102,800 to 105,200. 102,800 to 105,200-ish. So thinking the price can make its way up there, I'd like to see this yearly VWAP hold. There's a lot of noise going on outside. I hope that's not coming through the mic. I'd like to see this yearly VWAP hold. Okay, so from the 1st of January, we do have this yearly VWAP that has been holding quite nicely so far, and I would like to see price start to reach a little bit higher. I'm going to be going over like potential breakout targets when this does take the highs, because I do believe it is going to take the highs. I'm not really thinking that we're going to see too much more downside. But something to be aware of. Okay, this could be a local distribution. We could still come down here. Okay, it's certainly not out of the question that it's not going to happen. But I do like the momentum that we're seeing as we go into the year, and generally speaking, that momentum does quite often continue. So how the year starts, it does continue. So probabilities are suggesting that we are looking at this continuing higher after this move. Okay, there's been some really nice stuff. Like I said, we did take out that low. We did hold the anchored VWAP from the Trump pump. And we did also hold the 50-day moving average. So nice support there, nice confluence to be looking for longs on any of those moves that came down into those low 90Ks, to be riding those up to the 102, and then to these higher targets that I'll go over in just a second. Going down onto the 4-hour time frame just here, then of course you can see we have taken out that high. And this is that range POC. If we do take this as a local range, because of course this was when we broke that 100K, and we look at this as a local range right now, then we can see we've got a point of control up here at 101,300, around about there. So that could be a level to be aware of. Okay, there is a 4-hour OB there. And then we do have this, again, like I say, that daily gap that starts to come back into some of those fib targets. Around the 618 is that big point of control. And then we have, more resistance there. The support is a little bit more local. So if I take this down onto the 30-minute, I think I've covered the resistance. Yeah, you've got that point of control. So we have this big range point of control. If we're taking this as more of like a little local range, then the POC is slightly above. If you bring that into what we've seen more recently, then of course we do have a point of control down here at 94,500, and that takes us into our levels of support. If I take this down onto the 30-minute time frame and I turn on the TPO and the key levels indicator. So hopefully this doesn't get too messy. Hopefully my internet does play ball here. And this brings in a couple of, internet slightly slow. I'm in the Philippines now. I'm in Manila, and I'm going to be going back to the beach again soon. But let's just bring this into the year so we can see everything here. And that looks kind of nice. So a couple of things that we can be looking at as support. So first of all, we do have a couple of NPOCs below. So they are at roughly 96,800 and 93,600, 2 naked points of control. And we do have that, of course, that yearly VWAP that is coming in around about that first NPOC. So as we have seen these highs taken, a 50% retrace of the move down, then if we are to see a pullback here, I did update the crew again this morning saying that this is a good chance to take a short, day trade short, see what happens. I'd be looking to take profit around there, around about that 96,800, and then maybe be looking for longs again afterwards for that move higher, which we're anticipating. The real line in the sand here, though, is this cluster of support down here. This is very, very important. Okay, as we can see, we didn't put in much of a wick to the downside. This is the low of the year so far. Okay, down here at 92.7 something. But there we have the previous weak points of control. Okay, we opened at the previous weak points of control, so now seeing expansion away from it is what we would expect to see. The previous week opened, so we started our new quarter, the new year, right around that previous week open, and of course our quarterly yearly open, and we do have another MPOC down there as well. So 93,600, you really don't want to see that broken. We really don't want to see price coming down there at all if this is to stay bullish again, because then yeah, it does bring in those lower targets that maybe we do have here. So if we are going to see a bit of a pullback, this looks like a really nice zone to be getting another consolidation for another move higher. If we are to lose this previous month point of control, I mean, we've already gone through it and nothing really happened there, so not too interested in that. But yeah, you don't want to be breaking down below that 93.6. Nothing too much more that I have to say on this really. It has been up every day so far this year, right? Every day is closed higher than it's opened, I think, maybe. Just look at the daily time frame again. So yeah, at some point we're going to get some red candles. And if that does take us down to these levels, then that would be really nice. Yeah, it's still a range locally. We still have this range. Just still expecting this to trade like this, but then I do think break higher, and then maybe looking at those targets a little bit above that later on. If we are looking at targets for the next breakout, if we are anticipating a breakout, which I do hope we do see, even if there is more of a correction, I do think that we are going to go through price discovery and we're going to see some more mania and more craziness through Q1 this year. Then 132 to 136k looks really, really nice. So that gives us the 1-to-1 from basically, I think that's, yeah, from the start of the Trump bump to the highs to the lows that we've just put in recently. That gives us the 1-to-1. And also if we were to look at this range, then 2.618, a nice expansion there. And we also have around about 138. That gives us the 3.618 of our previous range down here. So a little bit of a cluster there. Of course, when it is price discovery, you can only really use fibs to target where price might go. Of course, within the previous highs, I went risk off when we hit 105,500. That was the target that I had for the breakout. And it was quite nicely timed because it happened towards the end of the year, and then I was able just to relax. Had taken my profit for the year, had more or less stopped trading for the year at that point. So when we hit 105,500, yeah, we peaked above it for a day or two, but we didn't really close very much higher than that. That was my target, and I'll do the same if we come up to 132 to 136k. There may be something even clearer by the time we get there, because we'll have a nice trend that's starting to form, and it could take us into those areas. And then once again, I'll go risk off when we hit those zones up there. So yeah, nothing too much more to say. I think altcoins are looking pretty good. I've done some nice little price predictions. Maybe I'll put them up on Twitter, and I'll probably do a stream, maybe a stream later on today, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I hope everyone had a great Christmas. I hope everyone had a great New Year. I will see you all on a stream and we can have a nice little chit chat, and have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye bye.